Hey everyone, LJ here with LJ Realties. In this video, I'm breaking down the Q4 2025 Montreal real estate market. We'll look at what actually happened over the last 3 months, what the numbers are really telling us beneath the surface, and most importantly, what this means going into 2026, whether you're a buyer, seller, or investor. As always, this is not hype, this is data, context, and boots on the ground insight from the Montreal market. Let's get into it. Let's start with the big picture. For the Greater Montreal Area in Q4 2025, total residential sales declined by 4% year over year. New listings increased slightly, up 2%. Active listings increased by 7%. Median prices continued to rise. Single-family homes were up 7%. Condos were up 1%, and Plexes were up 8%. Average days on market dropped across all 3 property categories. This is the key takeaway for Q4. We're seeing fewer transactions, but prices are still rising and properties are selling faster, not slower. That tells us this is not a weak market. This is a selective market where well-priced properties are moving and buyers are very intentional. If you're thinking about making a move this year, you can book a call with me. The link is in the description below. Let's break this down by property because this is where the story gets interesting. First, single-family homes, sales were down 5%. The median price was up 7%, now sitting around $630,000. Active listings were down 2%, and days on market dropped by 9 days, down to 39 days. Single-family homes remain the most competitive segment of the market. Inventory is tight, and family buyers are still very present, especially in good school zones and commuter-friendly areas. Now, let's talk about condos. Sales were down 9%. Median price was up 1%, around $425,000. Active listings jumped 18%. Days on market improved slightly, now sitting around 53 days. This is where we're seeing the most normalization. There's more inventory, more choice for buyers, and more sensitivity to pricing. This is not a crash, but it is a segment where sellers need to be realistic. And finally, Plexes, meaning 2 to 4 units. Sales were up 12%. Median price increased 8%, around $840,000. Active listings were down 2%. Days on market dropped by 14 days, now at 52 days. This is important. Investors are coming back. Not aggressively, not blindly, but selectively. Plexes with solid fundamentals, realistic rents, and manageable renovation needs are moving quickly. Now, let's look at geography. Across the metro area, Vaudreuil-Soulanges was up 10% in sales. Saint-Jean-sur-Richelieu also saw growth. Laval was relatively stable, down about 2%. The island of Montreal was down 3%, the North Shore was down 6%, and the South Shore was down 9%. What this tells us is simple. Affordability corridors continue to outperform. On the island of Montreal, we saw prices climb when comparing Q4 2025 to Q4 2024. Single-family homes are up 2% with a median price of $800,000. Condos are unchanged with a median price of $475,000. And multiplexes are up 7% with a median price of $900,000. Homes took an average of 54 days to sell, which remained unchanged. Condos took an average of 61 days, down 3 days, and multiplexes took an average of 55 days, down 11 days. The market continues to be in a seller's market across all 3 categories. I also like to compare the Q4 prices to the Q3 prices to see how they're evolving on the year. Prices were up for single-family homes and multiplexes and remained unchanged for condos. Laval also saw prices continue to rise when comparing Q4 25 to Q4 2024. Homes increased by 8% with a median price of $620,000. Condos were up 5% with a median price of $419,000. And multiplexes were up 13% with a median price of $837,000. Days on market for Laval were down big in all 3 categories. Homes on average took 11 days less to sell at 34 days. Condos were 11 days faster to sell at 53 days. And finally, multiplexes were a whopping 16 days faster to sell with an average of 15 days. All 3 categories continue to be in a seller's market in Laval. The Vaudreuil-Soulanges area saw a mixed pricing shift. Homes increased by 3% with a median price of $617,000, and condos were down 1% with a median price of $355,000. Days on market for homes was down 16 days at 49 days, and condos remained unchanged. Both property categories remain in the seller's market like the Greater Montreal Area as a whole. The South Shore of Montreal saw a significant increase in pricing across the board. Homes increased by 9% with a median price of $635,000. Condos were up 4% with a median price of $405,000, and multiplexes were up 4% with a median price of $775,000. Days on market for the South Shore were down in all three property categories. Homes took an average of 34 days, down 13 days. Condos took 43 days, down 4 days. And multiplexes took 44 days, down 22 days. Just like Montreal and Laval, the South Shore is also in a seller's market in all three categories. As borrowing costs remain higher than pre-2022 levels, buyers are stretching geography before they stretch budgets. That trend is very likely to continue into 2026. So why are prices holding and in many cases rising despite lower transaction volume? Here's why. Inventory remains constrained overall. New construction is not keeping up with demand. Population growth continues. Rental vacancy remains extremely low, around the 2.1% mark, and average rent increased 7% year over year. On top of that, mortgage rates have come down meaningfully. One-year mortgage rates fell from 7.24% in Q4 2024 to 6.01% in Q4 2025. Consumer confidence around major purchases improved. Employment remains stable, with unemployment around 5.8%. All of this supports price stability going forward. So, what should we expect as we move into 2026? First, transaction volume should improve modestly. Not explode, but improve, especially if rates remain stable. Second, price growth will be uneven. Single-family homes and plexes should remain firm. Entry-level condos may stay flat unless they are priced aggressively. Premium or over-renovated properties will continue to sit longer. Third, investors will become more active, but disciplined. Cash flow matters again. Bad deals will not work. Good deals will move fast. And finally, sellers need to understand something important. This is not 2021, but it's also not a buyer's market. Strategy, pricing, and presentation matter more than ever. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in Montreal in 2026, and you want a strategy based on real data and real execution, feel free to reach out. You can book a meeting with me using the link down below. If this video was helpful, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next market update.